What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining me on this episode of the podcast. As you've probably seen by the title, we got another member from Rock Force crew. That's right, Icy Ives. The dude was super humble, super modest, and he loves to pay his respects to those who came before him. I really loved this conversation that we had. We went into some deeper topics on the culture and his come up, but also how he was prepping for the Red Bull BC1 National Finals, which he won twice already, and also how he's prepping for the last chance Red Bull BC1 CYPHER 2019. So let's get straight into this interview. What's going on, guys? Wolvie here, and welcome to the Cypher. On this episode of the podcast and every episode, I interview a highly skilled and talented B-boy or B-girl, and they share their knowledge and experience with you to help you become a better dancer. I'm very excited to introduce our featured guest on this episode. His name is Jeremy Ives Verret, but you probably know him as Ives or Icy Ives. He was born and raised living under the midnight sun of Anchorage, Alaska. Being a student to hip-hop culture is what he loves to do. He grew up dancing with a group of friends known as EOR, Elements of Rice, in '07. Also growing up, he had their big brother crew called Alaskan Assassins, and they stirred them up in the right direction. In 2015, he was very blessed to be recruited into Rock Force crew. Ever since then, he was given the opportunity to fulfill his dreams to the fullest and travel the world doing what he loves to do. Hip-hop really is a trip to him, knowing how much it can change not only your craft, but how you are as a human being. This art form will always be embedded in him. Man, really excited to get into this conversation with you, bro. Ives, thank you for joining me on the show. You ready to get into it, man?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Cool. Really appreciate you being on the show. We've been going back and forth for a little bit now.
Yeah, we have. I guess it's the right timing right now. I know we both probably
Totally.
been busy with other things, so
Oh, yeah, I know you've
yeah,
been busy. You've been all over the place.
trying, brother. I just got back. I
But
just
now
got back
you're,
from Slovakia like last week. Actually, it was awesome, man.
oh, snap. What were you doing out there? Was it a outbreak?
Yeah, Outbreak Europe. Um, was out there for like 5 nights. It was beautiful, bro. It was really hot out there, and being out in an event where it originated in the U.S. and carried on to Europe, the energy was beautiful, bro. Like, just it didn't. I wasn't even there to win or anything. I just wanted to get that experience of Outbreak Europe, because everybody's been going. That's like the go-to jam that people talk about in Europe. So just to be out
For
there for
sure.
that, to experience it all, man, that shit was nice.
I love that, man. And did it live up to the expectations?
Yeah, bro. Like, after the whole event, the jam, whatever, like they had they had like a concert outside, and they had like Master Ace there. They had Fairmont as the main event. Man, just to see that was dope.
Damn, dude. Okay, yeah, that is dope.
Yeah,
Definitely on the list for everyone. I know that's one me and the boys are going to next year. So
nice. I'll see you guys there.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Cool, man.
So,
Now you're out in Anchorage, Alaska.
yeah, this is where I'm living right now. I'm born and raised. Been here for like 23 years now, man.
Damn, dope, man. What's
Yeah.
the scene like out there? Hip hop and breaking.
Honestly, bro, like our scene here is like I wouldn't even consider calling it a scene because there's really nothing out here for people in terms of like opportunities for dancers, hip hop artists. It's hard out here, bro. But it's it's like I've tried helping to grow it. You know, I've been throwing events since the age of 14, and I don't know what it is, man. It's a different beast out here. I think people are just caught up with um, trying to live like we live in LA, or or we live in like a place where there's already like competition there. But no, people don't realize we're literally at the bottom right now. And I think as a collective, we have to realize that Alaska is a small city, so it's kind of like a place where that kind of stuff can't really live. Like that competition stuff can't live. We have to come together in order to make the scene. Um, you know, if we want the scene to happen, we have to come as a collective to make it happen. If that makes any sense. Long story short, man, we're small and we don't need that kind of stuff here right now. That's the last thing we need. Maybe along the lines, like, let's build up to it. Like, let's make our students. Let's let's keep growing our scene to the point where we have a lot of dancers, and that can be a possibility. But from now, we have to be real and understand that we don't have that kind of resource right now.
Dope for sure. But big ups to you. Like every community needs somebody like you who's trying to throw jams and try to be present in the community.
All right, man.
So that's dope. And you said that you're teaching too in a studio.
Yeah, so I teach at my studio. It's called Room 100. I teach at another dance studio. It's called the Underground Dance Company, and I've been with them for a long time, since I was like 14 as well. They gave me my first job as being a instructor, and I was too young actually to be paid, because you have to be like 16 for the legal age. So they're like, hey man, also we'll still keep you as an instructor, and we'll pay you under the table and everything. So yeah, bro.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. You said you got your own studio. Is that where all your practice footage from on your Instagram?
Yeah, man. Room 100 is what it's called. That's like me and my
Oh,
boys' space that we just practice at. It's really like an intimate space. It's not enough to like throw a jam or anything. We've tried. It didn't really work out, but it's like 400 400 square feet, bro. And I think it's just perfect for like to practice. So yeah, man, just to have a space like that, it's a blessing, bro.
dope, man. And B-boy was that? You said it was space?
Oh, what it's called? It's called Room 100. That's what our
Room 100.
student.
Dope, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Cool, love it. And all right. So who are you training with out there?
In Alaska, I mean, for the most part, myself. Like, I had to overcome the fact that training by yourself has to be a priority. If because there's not gonna be a lot of people out here to motivate me about myself. But when I'm not training by myself, I have my boys. Shout out Jermaine Belong, one of my homies that started with at the same time. Actually, we started together in 2007. Um, I got my other homie. He's in the Air Force. His name is Arthur Clay. He's been one of the dudes that actually been motivating me too, because you know how people are in the Air Force and the armed forces. They're like they're disciplined. And
Totally.
he kind of brought that feeling to me, in terms of like putting that to my discipline and b-boying. It kind of upped it in a sense. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah, just pretty much, man. There's not a lot of us. I mean, we got my boy Ace out here. We got actually my girl. My girl's a dancer as well. She's an all styler. She loves doing house music, and
Nice.
yes, she loves house dancing. I mean, but
Cool, man.
yes, she helps a lot too. It's just just grooving out and just vibing out and just you know not taking anything too serious, just having fun.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's how it is.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Take us back to 2007. How'd you even get started?
So in '07, prior to that, I was just I loved sports back then. I played like almost every sport out there, bro. Like I played basketball. That was like my main passion. Um, I played baseball. I played soccer. Played volleyball. You know, I even tried tennis out. Like any
Yeah.
sport, I kind of already tried. But one day
Mhm.
I was we were at the local rec center in Anchorage, Alaska. That's where we would practice. Like that's like the b-boy meetup spot was the rec center on Spinard. And this was '07 in December or January, I believe, one of those months. But usually me and my boy Jermaine would go and play hoop. We played basketball, and then we would like wait for our ride in the game room, you know, because we weren't old enough to drive. Obviously, we were like 10, 11. So we waited for our ride in the game room until our ride got there. But one day when we were
Hmm.
there waiting, there's these kids getting down already. They were like, they had a boombox. I want to say there was like a whole group of them. They were like 2 years older than us. They were like in middle school. We were just in sixth grade, and they were just breaking, and it like wowed us, you know. We were like, yo, what is that
Yeah.
going on? So actually, one of the dudes, like I already knew them because my older brother and his older brother hung out. His name was Kim, and when I saw him, he was like, "Yo, come here, try this out," and I was just like hella shy. Like back then, I was like a really introverted kid, you know. I kept everything to myself. But that day when he told me, "Yo, try this out," you know, it was like it just happened naturally, dude. Like I already knew how to back handspring at the time, so I threw out a back handspring, and then from that, yeah, from then on, bro, it's like that. Ever since that day happened, you know, it just stayed in us, me and Jermaine both, and the group that introduced us to breaking, they're called EOR. That was my first crew. Elements of Rice, Express Original Rhythm. There's a lot of you know, acronyms for it, but yeah, man, in '07, that's pretty much how breaking kind of got sparked into our lives, bro. And that was pretty
Yeah, man,
much like
that's
a
dope.
beautiful moment. Yeah.
Dope. And then afterwards, were you kept training with these guys, or did you link up with some other dudes?
Yeah. So after that, kind of got introduced to the scene too. I met like the elders of the Anchorage scene. They're called Alaskan Assassins. I don't know if you heard of them, but they're like the OG pioneers of Alaska, and they kind of helped guide us in a good direction of breaking. You know, um, they were pretty much our older
Awesome.
brothers, man. Like
Mhm.
they knew we were getting good, so there was times that they would just call us out and try to, you know, smoke us at practice, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was good to have elders around as we grew up, you know. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
and of course, yeah, me and my crew, our EOR, we trained a lot, dude. Like we would literally go in the morning. So the dance room would be open from 9 to 5 o'clock, right? And then it would close because there's classes, and then it would open up again from like 7 to 10. So we would go to the first couple hours it was open. We would wait at the rec center outside and just, you know, loiter and be little kids and just, you know, play games and talk and all that stuff. And then when 7 to 10 hit again, we would practice again from 7 to 10 p.m. until closing time. So yeah, that's pretty much like the whole journey of the beginning of my career was just doing that with the crew. And you know, eventually we trained up. We tried going to jams out of the state. You know, our first jam as a crew together was actually a jam in Seattle. I'm sure you know this jam. It was called Reign Supreme, thrown by
Totally.
Mike. And yeah, this was in 2012. And yeah,
Hmm.
that was like the first time us as a crew represented. We actually made it to the semifinals, you know. And from then on, it was like everybody just, you know, had life hit them, you know. Either
Hmm.
either you know, you have people in your family passing away, you you have kids, you know what I'm saying? You need to work in order to, you know, all that stuff hit them, you know. And
Yeah.
we still we're still all cool today. We stay connected. We're all just doing our own thing now, man. And now, and now with my breaking in Alaska, I just look at it like it's my sanctuary. You know, when I go out and travel, I can't wait to get back home, soak in everything, and just train up again. That's like the most exciting part of my travel is usually that is towards the end. I just want to go home and start training again. You know.
Damn, dude.
So
That's sick.
yeah, bro.
Before the interview, I was telling you that I was so curious about what it's like to come up in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, because you don't have as many resources. Your community is way smaller.
Yeah.
It's totally different, so it's dope.
I don't know. I said it. It's definitely a reason why I am who I am today because of the struggle of Alaska. You know what I'm saying?
Totally respect, dude. Would you say that's one of your biggest obstacles coming up? Is I guess a smaller community slash scene?
Most definitely, bro. Definitely, hands down.
And how are you able to overcome that?
um, Self development, man. That's that's definitely a big part of my journey was being able to change the way you are in the mind. You know, because not a lot of people want to change how you want to learn things, how you are as a person, how you can become a better person to ultimately be the best version of yourself. You know, and I
Hmm.
think that alone will help you succeed in anything you do. You know, I just literally just watched and listened to podcasts, interviews of great people that have done great things, and I just kind of let that sink in. And from then on, you know, there's really no excuse from there. You know, sky's the limits, bro. So I think that
For
alone
sure.
is important.
I love that so much. Respect,
Yeah,
dude.
much love, man.
Cool. So how'd you get linked up with the Rock Forest guys?
So with Rock Force, so one of the, but no, man, yeah, Lo Say Lee, one of my mentors now actually. He was one of the first b boys in Anchorage, Alaska, and I think he moved to Sacramento to I don't know. He just moved to Sacramento along a couple years after he was living in Anchorage. This was before I was even breaking, man. Like I don't think I was even born yet, but that's how that's how going back in time it was, you know. So his name is Lo.
Crazy.
Yeah. So when he moved to Sac, he got connected with Morris and Kareem, which they are both from Sac. Shout out to the California people out there. But yeah, man. So he was like, and then Low came back to Anchorage. This was like in 2014, I believe. There was a couple times he moved back, but 2014 was the year where he stayed the most. He moved back to like do some do some gigs, some side gigs for working and whatnot. And he we trained a lot, man. We actually built a good relationship, and he was like, "Yo, I gotta tell my boys Kareem and Morris about you when I go back to Cali," which he did. He went back to Cali after the summer ended, I believe, and Kareem hit me up on Instagram. Actually, he was like, "Yo, are you down to hop on a FaceTime call, kind of like what we're doing right now?" And he, I was like, I was only like 18, 19 at the time, you know. And then when he hit me up, I was just like, "Yo, is this really happening?" You know what I'm saying? This fool was in Australia doing like a gig for I believe 360 All Stars at the time, and you know he was just like, "Yo, I'm planning to rebuild Rock Force again. Would you be down to represent?" You know, and then of course I was like, "Yo, are you serious? Hell yeah, I'm down." You know, so that's kind of how that got started. It was really just like word of mouth and referring one another. So big shout outs to Low,
Mhm.
man, because he played a big part of the starting point of my career as far as you know just trying my best to be world class b boy. And yeah, man, the journey from there was crazy because after that happened, I think it was a couple months later. He was like, "Okay, now that you're down, I'm gonna pay your ticket to come to the Bay Area. So you're gonna do two battles in one day." And I was like, "What, for real?" like
Crazy.
yeah, that sounded crazy to me. And just the fact that he would, compensate my whole trip there. That's mad love. You know, and
Yeah, it's true. He doesn't even really know you.
yeah, exactly. I didn't know anybody in the crew, so to me, I was of course, I'm an introverted guy, so me going there, I was even more introverted. I was just observing at the time, just analyzing
Hmm.
everything. I was like, dude, this is the dream right now. Like, let's do this. Let's go to these jams. And so when I got to the Bay, there was one jam in the morning. It was called Mighty Four, which is a jam that one of my mentors, Polsky, is actually the president of Rock Force. He threw a Mighty
Hmm.
Four qualifier jam. Whoever wins that goes to China for a one-on-one. And then later on that day, there was a crew battle called Sacktown Underground. And yeah, man. So going back to the first jam, I ended up entering, and then fortunately I ended up winning too. And that was like my first ever win out of the state of Anchorage, Alaska. So that day for me was a blessing because I've never won a jam out of state. So that was like super exciting and one of my biggest accomplishments in my career because literally that
For
was
sure.
number one win right there. First time coming out of Anchorage, Alaska, all the struggles going back and to win and go to a world championship after that, that was a blessing. And then later on that night, we did a Rock Force battle, crew battle at Sacktown Underground, and we won that jam too. So that was two dubs in one day, dude. To me, that was probably
That's
like,
crazy.
yeah, that was like my best day, because I just got down, not knowing anybody, having to meet people in the crew, and to follow through and do that. Then I was just mind blown. I was just like, okay, I want more now. Let's keep going. Yeah. So, so that's kind of like the journey of the beginning of getting into Rock Force, man. Yeah.
That is crazy. Just some guy just flying you out, Kareem of all people, and you
Yeah.
show up, win two jams back to back. That's nuts.
Saying, man, yeah. I'm just blessed to be around good people.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's crazy how things work out. Excuse me. It's crazy how things work out when you're open to those kind of opportunities and your head's in the right place, you know?
Definitely, man. And one thing he did say, he was like, I didn't know you, but after watching your clips on IG, um, and what Lo had to say, hearing that, he was like, "There's something in this kid. I think he's the next one." And to this day, we still go back to when we talked on FaceTime, and every time we bring up this combo, it's always crazy to us, because it was almost manifested in a way. So it still trips us out to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even just listening to the story from the outside is tripping me out. That's nuts.
Yeah, yeah,
Because now
bro.
look at you today, like back to back Red Bull national final wins. Like that's crazy.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, congrats. One question I had for you is has I know that you're really self-direct and self motivated. I love that about you. But how
Yeah.
has like linking up with Rockforce developed you as a b-boy?
Developed me in a sense where I had to step up my game 10 times more, because when going back to the Rock Force lineage, bro, they were world champions already in like the 90s, you know what I'm saying? And even before that.
Hmm.
So, and there's just so much history behind the crew, and knowing that, having to study all of that, and really be a student of the game and just be schooled all the time, like that's one thing that helped me become better as a dancer overall and just a person, is the fact that their motto is always be a student, because you always got to be a student. Even grandmasters these days are still learning new things, and I think that alone um, has helped me really just keep developing, because you think one thing, you think that you're good, you think Everything you're doing is right. Your formula is good, but then you meet up with these guys, and it's like, nah, you're missing this, dude. Go back to this, study this. You know what I'm saying? So just the fact that they treat it like it's a university, like they study this like it's school. So that alone has really changed the way I looked at breaking. Because to me back then it was just like, all right, let's watch some videos, let's flip it, let's just try to make it look original. you know. Long story short,
Yeah.
that's what it is, but it's deeper. You got to understand where it came from. You really have to go back in time and study the foundation of everything. It's just and the fact that you have to, it's like now you're building a relationship with the dance. It's not just taking moves. Now there's the whole feeling behind it now, you know what I'm saying? So so yeah, man. So just being a student and really just being schooled all the time and being put in my place. I had to set my pride aside because not a lot of dancers are willing to be like, all right, let me be under your wing. I really want to get better. I know you guys are champions, so I want to get to that level. So, in order to do that, let me set my pride and ego aside and let me be your student. You know what I'm saying? So, that alone has really been like very important along my journey, bro.
Oof, heavy, dude. I love it. That's why I love doing these interviews, man. That's so
Yeah.
dope. That's so inspiring. Okay,
Yeah, man.
cool. So it sounds like you gotta learn a lot about the history through word of mouth. Do you have any resources for like people like that wanna learn more? What would you say are the best resources for that?
Honestly, bro, it's all on YouTube. But it's
Dope.
different when you're watching it and you're with somebody that has lived through the era of that, or was there with those people. They know those people like personally. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, if we're watching the Freshest Kids documentary and I'm with one of my mentors and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my boy." Blah blah blah, this and that. He would always do this and that. So you're not only watching it now you feel like you're with these people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah, you're living
yeah,
it.
exactly. And but yeah, but for people that just want to, go back in history, it's like you got to learn the timeline of the dance in general. Not We're not speaking hip hop no more. Learn the timeline of dance. So let's go back to, I don't know, some of the first dances to ever be innovated. Back then I want to say like, I don't know, 1800s to 1900s. Like what dances were going back. What was popping back then? What was popular? Um, Funk, tap dancing, folk, real instruments being played. So and and the fact that you know we go into the James Brown era. You know what I'm saying? So and then
Hmm.
go so on to the '90s. You got boom bap coming up. You got, I don't know, Das Effects. All the '90s house party music is getting popular. In the 2000s, it's like what was going on in the 2000s. You had Soldier Boy. You know what I'm saying? The Soldier Boy dances, lean with it, rock with it. It's like once you touch up on all the eras and the timeline of dance in general, um, I feel like that's really good to study because it's just gonna help your dance overall. Because when you hear a song, like most people, when they hear a song, they're just gonna do what they know. But then when you hear the song, what goes on in my mind is like, okay, when did this song? When was this song? You know, what era was this song from? That's what I ask myself first. And then, for instance, if it's funk
Hmm.
music, I'm gonna be like, okay, it's funk, so I'm gonna dance funk. So I'm gonna do the Charlie Rock, and then I'm just gonna, build off of that and just keep going. Because you gotta stay groovy, because it's funk. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You can't just go all out, do power tops and do, you know, a power set to some James Brown music. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think just building a relationship with all genres of music, you know, That's really important. So that, and just listening to interviews of pioneers, Alien Ness, Ken Swift, you know, newer generation pioneers like K Mel, Remind. You know what I'm saying? Just hearing what they have to say is really important, man. And then to even get more in depth, watch their videos. There's actually IG. There's an IG of like just really good stuff. Korean rock. Korean rock, right? He's on IG. He
Oh
poses
yeah.
all the yeah, like his IG profile is really great to just watch, old school stuff. So I really think going back to the roots is the key to everything. You know.
That's heavy, bro. I love it so much. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Like these few minutes are gonna have such a huge impact on so many people. That's so dope.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. I'm actually like, you're having me feel really cool now. I'm getting goosebumps as we speak. You know what I'm saying?
You and me both, man. I fucking
Yeah.
love it. Okay, cool. Um, let's let's shift gears a little bit here.
Okay.
I know you've been training like crazy probably these past couple months,
Yeah.
especially leading up to the national finals, the Red Bull national final here in the US.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just try to train all year long. I try to not like have a time where I just do nothing. All year long has to be training.
Yeah, what's your training look like on the regular?
So every day I try to do 2 a day workout. So in the morning, I do my little run. I run for like a mile, or if I'm really feeling good that way, I'll do 3 miles, and I jump my rope afterwards. I do my pull ups, I do my sit ups, and that's pretty much like the first workout of the day. That's what I do. And if I don't feel like doing that, then I'll just go to the gym. Or for instance, if it's like rainy day outside, I'll go to the gym, and then I'll lift my weights. I'll do 3 sets of whatever I'm doing. My goal is to always do three specific workouts for each muscle. So if I want to do like biceps, I'm gonna do 3 workouts and I'm gonna do 3 sets of each, and then I'll end it with calisthenics, like more pull-ups, box jumps. I just try to cover everything in my body, so I'm just not training one thing. And then during
Mhm.
the night, that's when we practice. And I usually try to spend like 2 to 3 hours at practice, because I feel like that's just like the perfect time to get down and just let everything out. Um, and my
Totally.
body, I just listen to my body. So after that 3 hour mark, my body's like, "Yo, you chill out." It's like that all the time. But yeah, man, I practice. Depending what I'm training for. So if I'm just like practicing just to practice, then my goal is always to try to make something new every practice, whether it's like I don't know, a top rock step, or even just like a cool little go down. It doesn't have to always be a big move for me, because I'm all about the details and being technical. So to me, it's
Totally.
like just the fact that I get to make one thing and take it home. That's already accomplishment for me. And then I write it down, of course. And if I'm heavily training for something, for instance, like a one-on-one coming up, then I just try to do rounds with my friends. There's this thing that Rock's Fight actually introduced me to. It's called it's like interval. What is that word called? Interval rounds. You do
Okay.
you do like a round, and then you rest for 20 seconds. Then you go out again, and then you rest 20 seconds. You go out again, you rest another 20 seconds. So you just did 3 rounds right there with 20-second
Mhm.
rest in between each round. And then you would go out again after like a minute or two rest, and you do that, and you treat it like it's a jam. So when you come in, top 16, 3 rounds, top 8, 3 rounds, semis, 3 rounds. Final battle, we do 5 rounds. So
Right.
yeah, that's just like a way to really like stay in shape, but also it helps with dealing with pressure because when you feel like you're timed, then you feel like you have to rush everything, right? But in reality,
Hmm.
you are like pull it out at that time. You have to know how to deal with that pressure. So it's like if I really want to train and get my stamina up, that's really one thing I do. Or I just tell everybody in the room, yo, I have a jam coming up. Can you guys go rounds with me? So that's
Dope.
like, yeah, that's pretty much the most self forward thing you can do to train, man. If you got something big coming up, you know what
Yeah, for sure. And these rounds, are you just reselling these rounds?
I'm saying? Yeah, for the most part, but of course you got to pull out your signature moves, because for me,
Hmm.
like when I dance, um, I don't like doing sets from like A to Z, you know, like maybe I'll go from A to B with my top rocks, but then when I get on the floor, it's like I don't like complete, handwritten choreography sets, if you know what I'm talking about. I like to, yeah, I have my moves that I write down, but I like to flow into them differently all the time. I just, yeah, man, because for me, it's like I heard K-Mel say this one time. If you look at a picture, like an artist paints, he's never going to paint that same picture again. And even if he does, it's still going to look a little different, you know? So I've been like really going by just, you know, listening to the music. Whatever the music is telling me, bro, I'm going to react to that. So yeah, it is
Oh, for
structured
sure.
around, yeah, it's structured rounds at some points, but then for the most part, it's just being free, man.
That's dope. Yeah, hitting your combos, freestyling between, going with the music, going at your own
Yeah,
pace. That's dope.
definitely.
Dang, what that thing that came out said about the painting, that's hella dope.
Yeah,
That's so
interviews, man.
true.
It's really true. Yeah, it's deep.
Totally. And then what's the rest of your training like during practice? Is it really structured, or do you kind of just go with the flow, what your body feels like?
So when I get to practice, I start off with low intensity music. So my practices are based off of just really easing into practice. You don't want to go to practice and start playing, you know, final battle type music. You know what I'm saying? You just got there. Got, you,
Yeah.
you want to warm up. You want to ease into it. So I play funk music in the beginning of practice, slow jams, and then gradually just you know change genres, and then we're at regular intensity music now, and then towards the end of practice, yeah, I'm gonna play a lean rock mixtape to hype us up and just go all out. But for me now, it's like with everything I've developed in my dance, like para move wise, it's like now for me it's just like, all right, can I do it the other way now? Can I hit windmill 90 continuous on beat? You know what I'm saying? So now it's just for me now it's not getting new power moves and unlocking new shit. It's like, can I connect to the music with it now? And that's one thing I've been going over actually with my mentor. Shout out Polsky. He's like, yo, you got all these moves, bro. They're dope. And Machine, we've been going. We were actually in Slovakia together, and this is what we talked about. He was like, yo, Ives, don't try to, unlock new power moves now. You have your power moves. Um, Stick to the music. Do it to the music, and you'll definitely look different from everybody already. Because when you
Mm.
watch like most jams, people are gonna go out and do like a power top rock, and then they're gonna go straight into their power moves, right? Like that's basically the general thing you've been seeing in the b-boy
Yeah.
community now. And for
Hmm.
that, it gets boring to the eye. So some people, they're doing crazy stuff, but it doesn't impress people no more because it's like it's so common now. Like even the little kids, like it's amazing. They're little. I wish I was doing that when I was that small. But it's so common these days. So when you go out there and do something that nobody else is doing, you already set yourself to a different standard because you just want to look different already, man. And it's that simple, really. You know, people are like, "Yo, I just want to be good. I'm gonna get one-handed air flares." You know what I'm saying? But in reality, you don't even have to go that far. Just it's simplicity, bro. It's more simple than that, you know. Like nobody knows that it's all about the music, bro.
Yeah, dude, that's dope.
Yeah,
Reaching the next level is not all about getting that next power move, man. It's
there you
about just
go.
doing it to the music. Love
Yes, sir.
that. What are the, are you doing anything specific in your practices to develop your musicality?
Um, it's a
'Cause
good
these are
question, man.
high level moves.
Yeah. I think just listening to the drum. Like I try to always go by the drum and snare and the music, which is the most like simply the most simple the most basic part of the song you can go by is like the basic the drum and the snare, the boom cat boom cat.
Definitely. Yeah,
And,
definitely.
but of course there's always other instruments that people already want to like hit, like for instance there's horns, there's like piano, guitar. I just stick to the drum and the snare. And if I could like always be rhythmically in tune with that, with my whole entire round, even my power, then that's good enough for me, bro. And the other beats that are in the music, it's just a plus if you hit it, because like you don't want to overwhelm yourself with all the other instruments being played. Stick to the basic thing, because when you go on what's that application on your MacBook Pro? It's already built. GarageBand. If you go on
Oh yeah.
GarageBand and you record a song, you always hear that go, 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 go. You know what I'm talking about? So
Hmm.
it's basically that. Be the let the music guide you, because yeah, don't just don't go into all the fancy instruments already. Stick to what's there first, because when you make a song, you gotta go with the most basic instruments, right? Which is the drum and snare. It's always like that, and then everything just adds on. So for me, I'm just gonna stick to the drum and the snare if I have to. You know? Yeah, man.
Maybe eventually just becomes more natural. Start hitting the pianos, the lyrics, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Ease into it, bro.
You're dancing full time? Are you living off the dance like through teaching and competing?
For now, yes, I am at the moment. I really want to
Seeing,
just execute this whole year because there's a lot of big stuff happening. So yeah, man, I plan to just go hard this year, and then afterwards, I wanna live off not just by this dance. If I wanna do other things too in life, But if I can do this with the dance this year, then dude, I'll be really happy.
for sure, dude, respect.
Yeah,
So yeah, I know you got the conditioning down, but I guess the health and nutrition then just becomes so much more important now.
yeah, super
So
important.
how, yeah, how are you keeping up?
Um, so your body's like a temple, obviously, man. You gotta treat it right. But to be
Hmm.
honest, we're all human beings, We're all human beings, and sometimes that doesn't go the way you want to plan. Like, there's a lot of good
Yeah.
food out there, man. Like, yeah, for sure. Like, do your best to eat healthy because it's really gonna pay off in the long run, you know. But for me, like, I just been doing what I feel like is making me happy. So one day if I just feel like eating something, I'm gonna eat that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but for the most part, like if there's something big coming up, yeah, man, I'm gonna go to my strict diet routine, which is just really clean foods, really simple stuff like quinoa, quinoa rice, of course juicing. Um, my juice recipe is apples, cucumbers, lemons, the gingers, and carrots. That's like my go-to. juice right there. And I like to eat a lot of fish, bro. Like here in Alaska, we have all that stuff. We have fresh fish. My brother actually just caught a whole bunch of salmon last week, and he brought it all home to our family. So that's what I've been eating recently. But for the most part, I like to stay pescatarian, man, which is like basically all your veggies and all that stuff. It's pretty much vegetarian, but you can eat fish and seafood.
Nice, man. That's dope. Yeah, I've been slowly trying to transition into the pescatarian.
Nice, bro. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's important to, have a plant-based diet, but that doesn't mean that you can't eat meat.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't mean yet you can't, yet you don't have your freedom. So that's dope.
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. Before we wrap up, I got three last questions for you. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's your favorite pair of breaking shoes right now?
My favorite pair of breaking shoes. That's a good question. I like breaking at Asics, man. Asics are really comfortable for me. For me, it's all
Dope.
about what feels good, and they look good too. So it's like a win-win. So Asics has been some of the best shoes I've been breaking it.
Dope. Is there a particular model you like? I know I like the Gelite 5s.
Um, Dude, I don't know what these are called. I think they're called like Gel My, something like that. They're like they're like a
All
little
right, all
new.
right.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I could
Okay, dope.
I could shoot you a text, whatever. They're really called later.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
that. That'd be dope. Okay, cool. Next one, this one's a little bit heavier. Is what makes a good b-boy great?
Ooh. All right. To be brutally honest, you just got to
Mm-hmm.
surround yourself with greats. That's it. That's the most simple I can get. That's simple.
Totally. Damn. Okay. I guess maybe for a b-boy who's kind of maybe in a similar situation to you, maybe they are in a community where they do have a lot of resources, maybe not, but they're struggling with their style and their dance. What is one piece of advice that you would give them?
Man. So, I think in general, you just got to know where this dance come from, bro. Like I we've been pretty much talking about this whole interview. It's like you got to be a
Mm-hmm.
student of the game, dude. That's the one thing you got to do. And if there's not a lot of people in your community to give you knowledge and feedback about your dance, then maybe look into other things that will get you in a creative mind state. So for me, I like to what gets I like to do other things that gets me a creative mindset, like maybe just try writing down a couple of verses, do some poetry with a notepad or something. That'll probably get you in a creative mindset already. And it's just that. It's just because when you do one thing like continuously, it's just gonna feel like, okay, I do this every day. There's nothing. It's like it's just stagnant. But when there's just one thing that really just turns a different switch on, like I don't know, you touch a turntable, then you just start scratching a little bit, and then you just automatically feel a different sensation through your creativity. You're feeding yourself different things now, because in reality it is still all part of hip hop, but now it's just a different element. I feel like that's another thing that will help you as a dancer and develop yourself. If you feel like you don't have enough motivation to keep you going, it's like try the other elements, bro. The elements are there to guide us. So always do that. It's like it's not just breaking, man. Now you're speaking hip hop, and now it's a bigger entity. So in that, you're just winning overall, because one thing is gonna help the other things you do in life.
Goosebumps, man. That's so
Yeah,
dope. No, that was on the spot. That's dope.
bro. Yo,
Man,
this was
okay,
dope,
this
bro.
is yeah, man. This is slowly becoming one of my favorite interviews. I love this so much.
Word, appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, real quick, do you do a lot of workshops or that sort of thing when you're traveling?
Um, Not a lot. The most teaching I do is here, at in Anchorage, Alaska. But I taught a couple workshops. Like I did a workshop in Japan the beginning of the year, but that's about it. But eventually, yeah, I want to do all that stuff. So hopefully, get more opportunities this year.
Dang, dude. Yeah, that's dope. I definitely think you should. Like, you've got such a dope message, and I think it'll resonate with a lot of people. And a lot of people really want to hear what you've got going on, and they want to listen to you. So yeah, keep
Appreciate
that in
that,
mind
man.
for sure.
Much love, definitely.
Cool. So where can if people want to hear more from you or keep up with what you got going on, what's the best place for them to link up with you?
Hit me on my IG peeps. It's at bboy Ives, and yeah, everything is pretty much there. I'm actually building a website soon, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be called ICEYES.com, and yeah. Besides that, starting a clothing brand pretty soon. You know, the date is not official, but just know that it's coming soon.
That's dope. Build the
Yeah.
hype.
Yes, sir.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping up with what you got going on and be pushing whatever you got. So I know we're a little bit small now, but you got my full support and the support of the community that we're trying to build here. So that's dope.
Yo, appreciate you, bro. Much love. I'll shoot you guys a follow and shout you guys out, man. Whatever I can do to help as well.
Yeah, that's all. I appreciate that. All right, guys, you've been hanging out with Ives, IC Ives, and your host, Wolvie. Head over to inthecipher.com, search Ives or IC Ives in the search bar, and his show notes page will come up with everything we've been talking about here today. I just want to say a big, big thank you to you, bro, for sharing your unique perspective on this dance. I loved the message that you have here in this show, and it'll definitely reach and inspire so many b-boys and b-girls around the world. So today we got to learn from one of the greatest, and I hope to have you back on the show. But until then, we'll catch you in the cypher, dude.
Much love. Thank you, man.
And there you have it, Icy Ives. If you're listening to this, bro, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to get on the mic with me. I love getting people like you on the show who can represent this dance and culture in the right way. Be sure to check out Ives on Instagram at bboyives. Give him a follow to stay up to date with what he's got going on, what jam he's winning this time, and the new products and clothing line he's working on. Give us a follow too, where you'll see what Ives has got going on as well, but also to see the behind the scenes of these episodes and to see who else we've got on the mic coming up. Ives was really heavily requested by you guys, the listeners. So if you have a b-boy or b-girl you want me to get on the mic, please hit me up on Instagram or YouTube. I'm here listening and reading everything that you guys have to say. So thank you so much for the input and the support. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, until then, I hope to catch you guys in the cypher. Peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.